So the appraiser was hating.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
He was,
Right.
he was jelly. He was like, nah, 6 inches shorter.
Right. So, he's like, man, I ain't got even 6 inches to play with. You know what I'm saying?
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hi!
Welcome back to Wham, which is whatever and mortgage.
Yep.
Used to be wine and mortgage. I've switched it because it's whatever we want to put in our cup.
Yep.
So-
Whatever works for you.
Today, we just hope that you hang out with us and have a good time. Again, my name's jen.ray. I'm a lender. This is my buddy John. He's with Tejas Imagery. Always doing our thing. But we got two guests today that I've been excited about getting on this platform for a long time. And I will tell you why. It was when we went to the Golden Nugget. Before I say their names. These two, I was so impressed because everybody was just having such a good time and they were just, doing their thing. These little sober 20-something-year-olds, I was like, what y'all doing? What y'all about? And then when I got home, I had to do all my research. And I was like,
And we know
Kaleb
you did your
Monroe,
research.
This dude's legit putting out good videos, flipping homes, doing big shit. When I was your age, I was not doing that stuff. So I was like, I gotta hang out with these guys and just kind of see what they do. So without further ado, why don't you guys introduce yourself? This is Kaleb and Adrian, but I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
My name is Kaleb Monroe. I run a team out here in Clear Lake. I flip houses, buy rental properties, a little bit of everything. And
My name is Adrian Arizmendi. I've been in real estate less than a year. My Instagram name is Fat Boy Realtor, so I just try to have fun and just try to incorporate fun into all my business.
You know what? That's what I do.
Right.
I used to say that. I used to be like, listen, lending is not fun, but if you
Right.
make it fun,
yeah.
it's less stressful.
Right? Yes.
And I remember somebody's like, that's what you want, the fun lender. I was like, well, yeah. Anyways, I'm glad you said that. So, all right, so we can talk about like anything and everything. So we'll talk a little bit about what you guys do, but then we'll kind of dive off into other stuff. So
Yeah.
whatever we talk about or whatever comes across your mind. But the first thing I want to ask you is, when did you start doing your videos? Because they are so great.
I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
I got my first listing in League City. This was like my first bigger listing. My first listing that was over $300,000. Had a pool. It didn't have any back neighbors, just the iron rod fence in the back. Nice neighborhood in League City. Yeah. And I realized up until that point, I'd been doing a bunch of videos just on my iPhone. Like I would go to new build communities. I would take a 10-second clip of the kitchen. I'd take a 5-second clip of the primary bathroom. I'd take a 3-second clip of the backyard.
Right, doing what everybody's doing.
And I just put it all together. And this was all before Reels had come out and made it a whole lot easier to edit videos. But I was doing it on an app called Splice, where I was pretty much just putting all these videos together. I would get on voice memos on my phone. I would go on my laptop and type in non-copyrighted music. And I'd record a voice memo and then attach it to the video, which, by the way, sounds horrible. Like, looking back at those videos and looking at our videos now, night and day, right?
But I mean, it's so cool. And I mean, I'm just going to interject and I'll let you finish. But because I'm telling you, there's something about like our young people in our profession doing things, trying things. They're not afraid to fail because it's like, what do you expect? They're 22. Like, so it's like you guys don't have that. Like, sometimes I feel like our us older folk are so scared to do something because it's like, you've been doing it long enough, you should know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
But it's like, you gotta try this stuff because I'm telling you, the videos you're doing now, I'll be looking at them, I'll be like, honey, get over here and look at this dude. Look at this kid.
Here's the thing. And I'm so impressed with that because as a tenant of business, one of the major things that we as business owners and business people have to understand is the definition of insanity. We all know the definition of insanity, right?
Right, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Okay,
Yep.
But the business definition of insanity is doing the same freaking thing everybody else is doing and expecting to get a different result.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very true.
Seriously.
That's a good point.
So you got to up your game. You got to do something better, do something different, be unique.
Or don't be afraid to ask these youngins what they're doing because they're doing it better than we are.
Yeah, they got some good ideas.
So continue though. So you started with splicing apps, putting it together. and you found stuff that wasn't, patented or copywritten or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
How long ago was it?
This was I got licensed in January 2020, and virtually right after that, I started doing it because obviously it was COVID, and there wasn't a lot of people that wanted to go out and view houses just out and about. So I brought the tours to them.
Yeah.
And after a while, I ended up getting my first nicer listing. I had a couple listings before that just weren't worthy of anything more than just that iPhone video tour that I did. But this one was, $370,000. Like, it was nicer.
Yeah.
And I hired a videographer who is with us pretty much all the time now. His name's Justin. Shout out to Justin and Dalphi Media. But he was pretty much the only person that had been tagged on this Facebook post that I put out looking for a videographer that had a business page. Everybody else was like, oh, my cousin, my uncle, my aunt, and all that stuff is great. I'm sure they're great people.
Right.
It's just I clicked on this guy's business page and I saw his work immediately, and I fell in love with the work immediately. And I reached out, asked him. He said, it's this much an hour for recording, this much an hour for editing. And I was like, oh, that's it? Okay, cool, let's do it. Like, I like the fact that he had everything laid out already.
Right.
I mean, the rest is history. He's, like I said, he's with us at least 7 days out of the month for just all day long. We're recording all different types of stuff nowadays.
Because they're so great, because they're engaging and they keep you engaged. Because a lot of times it's like, if you look at, the data collection, it's like you have here, and then it's like who you're keeping watching your videos kind of goes down quickly. But yours is like, I can watch it the full way through.
I think that trends just, especially nowadays, they get recycled so quickly. So it's important to just get ahead of a trend and set your own sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or if you see a trend, and it looks like it might pop off, just try it. I mean, worst case scenario, you don't get as many views as you thought you would. Big deal. You still put another piece of content out there.
Right. So let me ask you this. So you got your license in 2020, and you immediately knew you were going to start flipping houses? Or you were like, let me just be a realtor and see how this turns out? Because, tell me your age again.
22.
So you were like 19?
I was 19, yeah, when I got licensed.
See, I wish I'd have been doing this stuff. I was in college getting a degree that I don't even use.
I also went to college for a semester.
Were you a theater major like me?
No. I can't do it like that. No, I was actually majoring in marketing, and that was part of the reason why I think I ended up getting out of it, though, because I realized I was learning a lot about marketing in the industry. Before I was in real estate, I sold Cutco knives, which, of course, you learn a lot about cold sales in an industry like that, right?
Knife sales, or that's the place to learn? Yeah,
no kidding. You get taught to be told no 1,000 times and still keep asking, right? But I didn't know I was going to start flipping houses until about a year after. My first year in real estate, I did decent. I sold like 12 houses, $2 million in volume. Good year for any agent, let alone a first year.
Yeah, first year.
And I had stacked up a little bit of cash throughout the second year, like about halfway through, and I reached out to a couple of people that I knew that flipped houses, whether they were at my brokerage or just elsewhere, and started scheduling lunch meetings, asking questions, picking brains, and it all kept leading back to James Toller, with King James Lending, who is a business partner of mine now. I met with him, and he taught me pretty much everything I know about flipping, and since then I think nowadays I do it a lot more.
Listen, Maggie. She's supposed to get on this doggone thing.
I love them to death. They're great people.
Yeah.
We need to have Jessica Madrone on too.
Yeah, she's awesome too.
Jessica Madrone was great. I just had her, I just GC'd her to do a flip of mine that I was helping a buddy out with.
Yeah.
So she was great. Literally, I didn't have to put any hands on.
I mean, in and out. Susan Heflin, yeah. There's a lot of good people in that community. I think in that circle it's important to have that.
That's really So okay, you were 19, and then when you were 20, you started talking to different people, and everybody kind of pushed you. They're like, this guy James Toller, this guy James Toller.
Right, yeah. And
you meet him when you're 20.
I met him whenever I was 20, and I was about to turn 21 in that September. I bought my first flip house on my 21st birthday.
Okay, and how much was it?
I bought it too high. I bought it for like $170,000. It only needed what I thought was like 10 grand worth of work.
Okay.
At the time,
so 180.
So 180 all in, and I ended up selling it for 212. However,
how would you put in?
Yeah, I ended up putting in like 15 or 17,000, something like that. So I lost like $1,400 on my first deal after the note payments and everything like that.
I was gonna say, it's still not that bad, but now I know why. When you have and we'll get into this next because he has little things that y'all can gather at. So I remember when you said don't get over your head, and I tell, because I have a lot of investors that'll come to me, and a lot of times obviously they're getting rentals because I don't do hard money. I do like, no, you got to be in the loan for a while.
Right.
So, but like I tell them, I'm like, your first rental, don't buy something that's going to be just a money sucker.
Right.
If it is not ready for you to go in and have somebody rent it without you having to go out there and fix pipes every week, don't get it.
Right.
Because sometimes people will do that and it's too much. So, I mean, getting in over here. But that's not bad, though.
Yeah, no,
So
it wasn't bad. I mean...
you only lost money because you were...
Because how long I held it, there ended up being some rotten wood inside of the boards in the attic.
Okay.
So we had to replace the entire roof. That was the expense that we didn't really account for up front.
Those are the fun things.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, at the time, I didn't know what was right or wrong, so I had bought pretty much 2 houses at a time.
Yeah.
I had a second one going on in Cleveland at that time. That first one was in Deer Park.
Okay.
And that second one I ended up buying in Cleveland. I only put $5,000 into it and ended up making like $40,000.
Nice.
So if
That's
that first one
amazing.
was going to get me out of the game, that one definitely brought me back in.
Yeah. Well, that's good, though. Now, where do you find your honey holes? Like, which ones are the best places to find, or is it all just scattered all over?
As far as just finding deals? Mm-hmm. I think that at first it was a lot of like scouring the MLS, looking on hard.com and just seeing houses that have been on the market for
a long time.
60, 90 days.
Okay.
Especially in a market that we were in at the time that I started flipping. I mean, 2021, 2022 was a hot market, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
if anything's sitting on the market for more than 2 months, sellers are getting worried, agents are wanting a commission, and it was our job to pretty much help both of them get out of it. And with that being said, you know, it started off like that, but then as I started to go to more like networking events and talk to more realtors that were listing houses online that needed some work, you start to create sort of a name for yourself in that space.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, if you need help, call me.
Exactly, yeah. And I ended up being the go-to guy, right? And so nowadays, it's more realtors, wholesalers, other investors that may need some help coming to me and saying, hey, do you want to partner on this? Or, hey, I have a deal for you.
Right.
But back then, it was a lot of MLS, searching on
Like,
MLS,
did you look
reaching
for
out to
like
realtors.
foreclosures, estate sales? Like, what did you...
Not so much
what
at first.
was just what's on the market?
It was just what was on the market because, I say it was just on the market. It was on the stuff that was on the market, as well as things like expired listings for sale by owners, because we were able to buy that data pretty easily. But foreclosures, I just had no knowledge of even how to find them at first. Nowadays, I mean, we just went to the auction this past week just to kind of get a vibe for it, see what it is, and then, you know, in October's auction, we're like hunting everything that's going into pre-foreclosure this month. And by the time auction comes around, we'll already have a list of houses and what we need to buy them for.
And the auctions, are those like unseen, sight unseen?
Yes, unfortunately. Unless you're studying like we are, right? So like that's the point of us getting this list together, seeing, okay, this house, the loan amount is X. It's in this area that we really like, and you know the auction isn't until October 5th, so we have plenty of time to go drive to these areas, check them out. It's not like we'll be able to go inside unless we get in touch with the owner, but at least we'll be able to make an educated guess.
Yeah, and like, so do you do? I would assume that there would be like, you've got to educate yourself as far as like, if you're gonna find a house and you're finding a great deal. Are you getting a great deal because the neighbors, and like, if they're not going for anything, this house isn't gonna go for anything, right? Like, do you look at the neighborhood? Do you look at, you know, what's around, like comparables, all that kind of stuff?
Most definitely, yeah. Those are the most important things. There's a saying that says, you make your money when you buy the deal, because selling the deal is the easy part, right? You've already beautified it, you've already done all your research, priced it correctly, but you have to buy it correctly in order to make sure you can make some money.
Right.
So we're looking
You
at...
found that out on house number 1.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Like I said, I mean, I just bought it too high in all honesty.
Right.
But, you know, I think it was a good rip the Band-Aid off kind of moment. Just get into it is what I wanted to do. But yeah, I mean, we look at comparables, sale prices in the area. We typically don't go above half a mile out unless we just need to, because sometimes there's just no comps. We look at days on market. We want to make sure that those are relatively low. Obviously, in the market that we're in now, higher interest rates, I'm looking more for houses that are like sub 300,000 ARV, meaning I can sell it for 300K or less whenever it's all finished up and pretty. It's not that I haven't done projects that are bigger than that. It's just in this market, I've noticed everything that's sub 250 and above 800 are going like that. And everything that's like in that middle is just sits. It's just a little slower.
So I have a question on anything sub 250. Do you think about what your buyer's going to look like?
100%.
Because under 250, first-time home buyers, a lot of them have great credit, but they're in the beginning of their career, so their ratios are high. So they're just like FHA. So anybody flipping homes, don't just flip something that can only go conventional. Because I have run across that before where I'm like, this can only go conventional? Did you truly flip it?
You know, and it's a hard...
Did you skip something? Like, You know, why can't
Yeah.
it go FHA? So that's good to know that like you're thinking of,
Right.
you know, your
I think
first time home
the
buyers.
biggest thing, especially for people that are just getting into their first deal in that price range, you have to understand anything below 300 is most likely going to be an FHA buyer. And of course, there's the
First-time homeowners.
90-day rule, right? So the 90-day
yeah.
rule is the biggest thing that I think we run into because obviously, you know, especially doing hard
Let's
money
explain
loans.
that real quick.
Okay.
Some people that 90 days means if it's in your name and you purchase it and the sale of that home happens on the first of the year, like January 1st, 91 days after that date is when the contract has to happen for the seller.
Correct.
If it's on like day 89, it's no, you can't do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, even if it's a
So you
day
gotta-
off,
Yeah,
like, it's
you
hard.
gotta wait 90
Exactly.
days. Yeah.
And I mean, the tough part, like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because on the flip side of that, some of the hard money loans that we do are 6-month terms. So, I mean, we have to basically use half of the time we have for this financing in order to renovate it to make sure we can actually sell it to FHA buyers. In the past month or two, I've had 2 deals that I actually bought, cleaned out, maybe touched up paint, maybe repaired something here and there, but like very minimal rehabs, listed at a discounted price compared to what we could have listed it for, but still made the same amount that if we would have renovated it and sold it for the higher price.
Yeah.
Right. But you didn't have to go through all that.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
honestly, a lot of times people
Makes
just
sense.
want to clean. They just want a clean house when they move
Right.
in. I want a clean house. I want stuff working. I want fresh smell.
Yeah.
Good,
And-
right?
And
For
it
sure.
really, it makes sense for the buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because he or she may not want, you know, the stuff, the extra,
The bright whites, the upgrades, everything like that.
They
We're
may
giving
want
people a blank
something-
canvas.
Exactly.
We just shot a house over in Dickinson, for instance.
Yep.
And straight out of the 70s, the
Yeah.
interior of this thing was,
Yeah.
okay? And it sold literally 50,000 over asking in 2 days.
Jeez.
Yeah. If people see a skeleton,
Because
Okay.
the buyers were looking for that house.
Right.
That 70s
it's exactly
decor.
what this house
You know.
was.
It just
We
blew
just
me
like
away.
the
In
building.
this market.
Yeah. And that speaks to how you're pricing the house too,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
If you got a
absolutely.
Jack and Jill, if you got like there's certain things that just like that right there, just the master's like having a suite in there. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Little things like that go a long way, and if you can
Sure.
provide
Yeah.
those things, like I did a flip in Pasadena. Actually, me and James partnered on one in Pasadena, and this house before, you know, the kitchen was all closed off. There was a door to the hallway to the bedrooms,
Yeah.
so like, you know, 50s, 60s style house.
Right.
And we pretty much extended the kitchen, added a dining room, and the laundry room was in the garage.
Yeah.
We had so much space saved over that we were able to add a laundry room. And the laundry room inside in Houston, Texas, in the
Oh,
middle
yeah.
of August,
That's big.
pays dividends to it being in the garage and you sweating trying to get your clean clothes out.
Yeah.
yeah. Oy. Seriously though, I'm gonna put you in my Rolodex. I mean, you're already in there, but I have so many first time home buyers, and sometimes they just can't find what they need.
Yeah.
And the first thing that they want to do is they're like, I might try new construction. I'm going to tell you the reason why renovation, like get a renovation loan and fix your own house or find a flipped house is better, is because taxes. It is already secured. The taxes are good.
Yeah.
Anytime you're paying a mud tax or you're going to these new places, it's like
rough.
the next year you're going to call me and you'll be like, I need a refi. I need to like stretch it out. I'm like, you don't get the money back right away on those new constructions. So it's like it takes time to refi.
Right.
So it's like me and Sonny Byerly. So we've started a team with like an FHA consultant and all that. We're trying to do renovation loans. That's
Nice.
like a gig. That's like a niche I want to get into to help my first time home buyers who are like, they can't find what they want. I'm like, I love my new construction people. Y'all do great. But it's just when it comes to taxes and having like just, you know what I mean? It's already
Yeah.
in a, like you already got, the oak trees are already over the road.
It's established.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everything is good and clean. It's like there's so much to and plus, I don't know. I feel like houses were made better back in the day.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean,
Sometimes that
uncovering some of
structure's
the
a
stuff.
little better.
Right.
That's-
I mean, at the same time, you know, as much as I love new builds,
The style was just different.
it's a brand new house, and you don't necessarily know what type of neighbors that you're going to be having on your street.
Right.
Are these going to be people that are like blasting music, you know, speeding down the road in the middle of the night? And if that's your style, cool, right? If you do that, no problem. I'm just saying your vibe attracts your tribe, and you want to be around people that you can deal with living around.
But there's just something about, I like when like an established neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it's like renovation or flipped homes. Like it's like I feel like the younger generations are down for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like there was a I don't know if it was mine, if it was us 40-year-olds, 40-something people that like, I don't know, we kind of wanted everything new. You know what I mean? Everything
yeah.
Like there was a generation that like nobody wanted to like.
Nura
you know what I mean?
was better, but I'll tell you what. I've shot houses literally that were newly built. You know, not even lived in yet. And there's one, for instance, and it was in a particular part of League City that if I mentioned the name, everybody would realize. But
don't mention it.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And we're shooting this new build, and we got done with the outside. It came a big, huge rainstorm, and there was water pouring in the inside of the walls.
Oh Jesus!
On a brand new house.
Oh, that's rough.
It's like.
That ain't no
Just because
fun.
you're getting a brand new house doesn't mean.
Warranty, though,
I mean,
right?
it's just like a car. You know,
Right.
you can get a lemon with anything.
Speaking of water, this leads me to another question.
Oh.
Because I have seen a lot of flips. Because you're a local flipper.
Yeah.
There are a lot of out of town flippers, and they don't understand Texas weather.
Right.
They don't understand so I remember because when we bought this house, it was in April, but we started looking in February. Really rainy season.
Right.
And we would go and we would find these houses that we loved, and we'd go in the backyard. It would be like a cesspool of just holding water and skeeters. When you flip houses, do you pay attention? Like if you need to put some dirt, do you do that?
You have to. I mean, you have to pay attention to it.
You
Well, you have to pay attention to it. Thankfully, I've not run into too many grading issues on the flips that I've done.
That's good.
Picking
the right
I've
homes.
seen some houses. Yeah, I'm picking the right ones because I've seen some houses that if it's getting that bad to where your grading is an issue, chances are the house
foundation
needs a lot more than
you're willing to do.
Exactly. I mean, it just depends. I mean, there's some people that I know that will take on 6-figure rehabs like it's nothing. My thing is, I'd rather take 3 $30,000 rehabs at a time, make whatever I'm going to make on those 3 versus taking on one that might take me twice as long as those 3 would individually.
Yeah. Little baby steps.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more volume.
And plus, you're making it for your people. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm making it for, But just things to think of when you're buying those things. I just wonder if that goes to your mind. Okay, what does the yard look like? What do the pipes look like? Like when you have your people go in there, like your inspectors, do you see if they, what is that, like old school piggyback wiring? Or
we're looking at something that we actually advise all buyers about. We're trying to take on as advice for ourselves. We tell everybody that the peach is your most important thing. So your plumbing, your electrical, your AC, and your heat, right? Of course, your roof and your foundation are going to be super expensive items as well. It's just your roof. It's going to be you need a replacement, you need a patch job, and it's going to be one cost, and that's it.
Right.
Same thing with the foundation. You need a couple of piers. It's one price. That's it. While in comparison to something like a plumbing issue, chances are if you have one leaking rusted galvanized pipe underneath the sink, well then the entire house might need a repipe.
Right.
So that goes from like $1,000 repair to like a $10,000 repair very quick.
Yeah.
Even on your foundation, like I think even going back to that, sure it's just a couple of piers and it's one cost, but once you lift that house, you're gonna have cracks on the inside you're gonna need to fix.
Yep.
You're gonna have a lot of other just cosmetic damage inside that's not gonna be so fun to have whenever you're living in it 24/7.
Right.
So if I had a little, like if I had my little first time home buyer, I could just call you and be like, look, I have this person and this is where they want to live, and it's taken them a while. So if you can find something and flip it, tell me.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, because I might do that because the first time home buyers during COVID they were having an absolute horrible time. They just couldn't they couldn't win any offer.
Yeah.
So a lot of them kind of were like, I'm over it.
Everything was so overpriced.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Like our house. Well, I was like, just for shits and giggles, our house appraised for like $100,000 over what we paid for it. I was like, there's no way. I'm sure it's come down now.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. People were just buying for ridiculous prices, but that's an interesting thing. So when you go out there and you look at that kind of stuff, what's the craziest thing that you've had that you're like, we can fix it, and then you find out like, I mean, tell me your Joanna, chip thing where you're like, what the hell is this?
Well,
what is this? This is going to take a whole 6 weeks itself. That you find out after you bought. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I had one that I guess it was the first one that we tried that whole method where it's like we clean it out, and list it at a lower price. This one was like near Hobby area, and what I thought was going to be, at first glance with all the furniture inside of it, a $50,000 rehab, ended up looking more like a $80,000 rehab. Just after everything was closed out. I did buy it already.
Okay.
However, we bought it well enough that even if we did what we did when we cleaned it out and listed it at like a mid-tier price, we still got the good result that we wanted. You know, somebody came in, and most of the time when we're doing that, it's buyers that are either buying cash or conventional. They have a lot of cash saved up because they want to come in, live in it, and renovate it as they go. And in the next 5 years, maybe they sell it, maybe they move on and do the same thing. But it's just people that have a tolerance to be able to go in and renovate themselves and, you know, take it slow. I thankfully haven't seen anything like just super crazy to where I'm like, I can't fix this. Why don't you tell a story about that septic tank that one time?
Oh, yeah. Do you have a septic tank that you cut into?
So I helped,
Did it start flooding the backyard?
Buy a house in Crosby. And, you know, we were during the inspection period. And what part of the story you want me to tell, before or after?
Tell the whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
The
whole thing.
Yeah,
we're in Crosby. Just start there.
So we're in Crosby. We see this house that we really like. Put an offer on it. It gets accepted. I get them $15,000 in concessions, which is great, you know. So that was pretty dope.
Good of you. You got $15,000 for them? Shoot.
Right on the offer, you know. So we're going to the inspection period. Nothing too major, you know. Everything's pretty much fine.
Yeah.
Appraisal comes back. Appraisal's like, hey, you need to do this and this and this. And your septic tank and your water well are 46 inches apart. Right?
What?
That's...
I mean, 46 feet apart.
Oh, geez.
No, not 46 inches.
I was like,
they're like right there next to each other.
They're 46 feet apart, right?
Okay, 46 feet apart. Okay.
And the rule is it has to be 50.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or 51. So we almost lost the deal because of 6 inches, right? But
way worse if it's 46 inches.
Right. So, you know, when people say 6 inches isn't a lot.
It
you know
really is.
It really
It
is.
is. It really is.
So, that's the funny part of the story. But you know, but after that, we had a septic
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
We had a septic inspector come out. They came out and they pretty much said that, hey, we're good to go. We're at 50. We're at 51.
So they dug and moved it? Like
No. They measured it. The appraiser said that
so
I'm not a licensed septic and water well inspector, so I'm not gonna.
So the appraiser was hating.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
He was
right.
He was jelly. He was like, nah, 6 inches shorter.
Right. So he's like, man, I ain't got even 6 inches to play with. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So you were good though.
Somebody had to go there.
Right.
You were right. Good.
So,
oh my God.
yeah, I mean, and after we closed and, you know, everything was good, but a week after we closed, during that inspection period, we got it drained out. A week after we closed, it filled back up. So they're like, what's going on?
Was it stopped up? Or
we found out that house, it's only meant to have 2 people living in it. That's how small the septic well is. And their family's like 7 people.
oh man, I probably think that's gonna be a loud thing, but
Yeah.
so they had 7 people. So
I believe it's 7.
I mean, it was
6.
like shitter
But it's
full
like,
every
man,
week.
So they would have to get it emptied like once a month, and especially when it's raining,
Yeah.
it fills up automatically because it's one of those older systems.
Yeah.
So now they have to pay to get a newer system, you know?
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, septic is septic and well I would run into a lot when it's
Right. And that's something that we didn't find out. That's something that, you know, nobody. We had an inspector go out there. He said, it's good here, you're good, you know? And then we called several septic companies, and one of them told us, no, that we know what kind of system it is there. It's only good for 2 people. You know? Wow. And we were like...
Yeah. So if I had run into that on
that's
the
a new
flip...
relation.
But you know, it's so hard.
That's a new
septic
relationship,
systems
though.
for-
You call that person every time. Like, is this 2 people or 7 people?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Let me know the size, please.
It definitely opened my eyes, especially for my clients. You know, it was my cousin. I just felt bad. I'm like, man.
Oh, that's hard.
You know, so I'm like...
That's
what
a
can
hard
we do,
Thanksgiving,
right?
wouldn't it?
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like
It's all love.
everybody
It's all
hush
love.
mouth at the family
No,
table.
it's all love. They realize like it's nothing that I could have seen.
Right,
It's
right.
something that they could have seen.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, all right, we'll just have to get it replaced in the future. You know.
That's,
They're
yeah.
okay with
Now,
that.
how much is it going to take to replace that?
A septic?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like to make a septic tank that big, and they're gonna have to dig
I think
and da da da.
it's $18,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say about 20 probably.
$18,000. I think they had a
Yeah.
quote for it already.
Well, at least you got them 15,000.
Yeah.
Pay for some of
Yeah,
it.
pay for some of it. Right?
So if you'd have come across something like that, then that obviously would eat into your profit.
Yeah. Well, I guess to that same question, I hadn't necessarily bought this house, but just 2 weeks ago, I was in Dallas for a conference, and I had put a house under contract while I was in Dallas.
Right.
Now, I'm to the point now where I can make some educated guess on photos and maybe, have somebody go walk the house for me and have them take a quick video to understand what a project might cost.
What you're looking at, yeah.
But my whole team was in Dallas with me because we were at a conference. So I had nobody to go walk it, but I knew that I needed to put the house under contract because it was going to go.
Right.
So I put the house under contract for like $100,000. It's a house out in the Highlands near Baytown. And I'm confident about it. I'm like, oh, this is going to be an easy one, like 40K rehab. I'll sell it for like $215. It'll be solid. Came back home. I'm already under contract. I didn't put an option period because I was so super confident.
Right.
I put earnest money up, like $1,000.
Get this off.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't put any more than $1,000 because I went to the house and, I mean, on the MLS pictures, there was a room on the first entrance that was just like bare wood floor, which normally I'm like, okay, well, it just needs to be, make sure that it's all solid and then we can, put flooring on top. That was like the best room in the house.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so we kept walking through the house. It was me and actually Jessica went with me. So me and Jessica and her son, and we were all out there, and we got to the very back of the house. First of all, we all felt like we were going to fall through at one point or another.
So just bad.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Then we got to the back room of the house, and the floor wasn't even like touching from wall to wall. Like it had been rotted out and just dry rotted over time. We couldn't even get into the room. So I lost $1,000 in earnest money because I needed a price reduction. The seller couldn't take a price reduction. I get it. I understand. Everybody needs their number. I just couldn't be the one to give it to him. But I had to. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be. Ooh.
Yeah.
Tell them about the house with the fleas.
Oh, my God.
Fleas?
Fleas?
So.
Like in the carpet?
Nope,
no, there wasn't even. Yeah, so this was a house. I was leaving the office one day, going to the gym, and Warren, an agent on my team, gives me a call. He's like, hey, I have this house on LaPorte. Somebody just sent it to me. We should go check it out. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's on the way to the gym. I'll just stop by or whatever.
Sure.
So I stop by. We go inside, and everything's fine. We're turning on all the lights. There's like some really thick shag carpet in all the bedrooms, and like the rest of the house is just like hardwood. So it's an older place.
Yeah.
It looked like a decent house, like
Right.
as far as structure-wise goes.
Right.
So we're walking around, and I'm in my gym clothes. I'm in shorts, socks, shoes, T-shirt. And we're just walking around the house, and all of a sudden, like, I feel like I walked through a spider web. Not like on my body, thank God, but like on my legs. You know that feeling?
Where you're like, there's something on me.
Something's on me.
It gives you the heebie-jeebies.
I thought it was a spider web. So I keep walking. I'm like, oh, okay, wipe my legs down, whatever. Just walking through the house, and then I start feeling like it again. And I'm like, I haven't been moving for the past 2 minutes. Me and Warren are just talking. Yeah. And I look down, and I put my flashlight on, and there's fleas all over my shoes. I sprinted out of the house. I was like, Warren, turn the lights off. I got to go.
Oh, my
So
God.
I ran out of the house. Warren's like, what are you talking about? He gets out and gets out of the house. He had turned off all the lights. He locked. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, look at your shoes. He hadn't even felt anything because he had jeans on. Like, it wasn't even bothering him. Fleas all over the place.
Oh, my gosh.
I know exactly what you're going through. We shot a condo up in Houston.
Oh, a condo.
That's terrible.
It was a 2-story condo.
Did it have fleas?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
My wife went with me. And so we go upstairs. No AC in this place at all.
Right.
It's all dark and drab and everything. So every photo is a long exposure.
Yeah.
And so I'm upstairs shooting these long exposures, and I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
See,
It was terrible.
Take the iPhone, or at the time it was an Android. But
the light, which
shine.
was better.
Oh
than
no,
the iPhone.
my wife was like, I'm going. I'll see you at the car.
out of there.
Guys, I'm telling you, man, there's certain things like if I walk into a house, and I know you're walking into different houses than I am, but like
Ooh,
it's become almost 25% of the homes sometimes you'll go into smell like dog or smell like cat. And I tell people, I'm like, get that cleansed because you got to have you're only going to sell it to somebody who got like 3 cats and a dog themselves. They can't smell it.
Yeah.
But like, because I have a dog. But I can smell that when I go there because my house doesn't smell like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No,
I'm like,
no, it
you
doesn't.
gotta. But I
You
mean, if
can't
I
even
saw
tell.
fleas,
you can't even tell you got a dog
Yeah.
when you walk in
I'm
this
saying,
house.
except for when he's crying. Except for
I'm
when
surprised he's not up here
he's
humping.
crying. He went with Daddy and Little Man.
Benny the Humper.
Benny the
You get a
Humper.
lot of wasps.
Wasp.
Wasp? No, I
He's
haven't.
had some wasp when he has to go take
I
pictures.
get wasps all the time, and I'm allergic to wasps, right?
Yeah.
And so they're always under the door.
Yeah.
Every time.
Right.
And so I'm over here, like, it was really bad. I was in Rosharon last week showing a client houses, and I walk over there. He's like, dude, there's like 3 wasps behind you. I'm like, what? And I boom, I jet out, right? I'm not going to get stung. So I'm running, and I'm like, hey, I can't go in there. You have to unlock the door. I said, hey, I got the key lock open, and you just go do your thing, right?
Just
And
go
he
I'll be
goes-
right here.
He goes, he unlocks the door. and the wasp flies on his back.
Oh,
I'm like, there's a wasp on you.
oh my gosh.
And he does not care. He's like, dude, it's just a wasp, right? And
But I mean, do you honestly? You get back to it. But if you get somebody a wasp, you go to the hospital. Like you're that allergic?
I don't know.
Like you swallow, like your tongue gets big, you swallow it, or are you just nervous?
I'm just scared as hell.
I'm scared as hell.
But your boy's like, it's just a wasp.
I just tell people I'm allergic, so I ain't gotta be associated with wasps.
Exactly.
That's the smartest thing you can do.
That is the smartest thing.
I do that sometimes. I'll be like, don't put sugar in it.
It was beautiful, beautiful house. He was like, man, I think this is the one.
He liked it.
There's probably 20 wasps under the doorway.
You see, they
I
just
saw
like
a place over in Santa Fe 2 weeks ago. Now, this realtor calls me, and they have, and I love it when realtors call me and they have a lockbox on the front door and there's nobody there. I love that. That is perfect.
Makes it easy.
You know? So she calls me, here's the lockbox code, whole 9 yards. We just put the lockbox on the door yesterday. Okay, so perfect. So I go to shoot this place. I walk up to the front door. There is a wasp nest, a yellow jacket nest, like that big, on the front door. Not on up there. There was another one up there over the front door, but on the front door. Literally, they stuck that sucker to the front door. And I'm just like, nope. You know, so I call a realtor. I'm like, hey, where exactly did y'all put this lockbox? Oh, it's on the front door. You know, because it's one of those glass front doors, and then the real doors behind it, and it's all mirrored and stuff, so you can't see through it.
Right.
You know, and I'm like,
the real doors behind it.
Bull. You did not put that thing on there yesterday. It's a massive yellow jacket nest.
There's no way they built it in a couple hours.
Right.
So yeah, on
it's got two queens
every other
in there.
store in Santa Fe.
Big.
You know, I spent 45 minutes trying to buy a can of Raid wasp spray so I could just make entry to the thing.
Jeez.
You know, and then make entry to the thing. There's no power.
Even better.
Like, you know what? This ain't gonna work today.
No.
Yeah,
I told him he needs to start
no.
charging trip fees.
Well, we do. We
Yeah.
have to go back, but no.
That's 2 trip fees.
Yellow jackets and wasp.
the other
A raid fee.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just bought some Raid, and I keep it with me at all times.
I do now too.
Seriously. And sometimes it'll even be. I mean, it's not saying that the house is nasty, but sometimes there's houses that are like left vacant.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, little critters find their way in there. They just be doing stuff, and it's like, check on those homes that nobody's living in. If they've been on the market, check on them as their realtor. Just give a good little checky.
Do a walkthrough every now and then.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, this house has probably been vacant. I went to Onalaska. Didn't even know. Never even heard of Onalaska.
Onalaska, Wisconsin?
No, Onalaska, Texas.
There's an Onalaska, Texas.
Yeah, it's a Lake Livingston.
There's an Onalaska, Wisconsin.
Yeah. So, drive 2 hours to this property, right?
Yeah.
15, 30 minutes before my clients get there. Walk up, drive up, and I can see they have like a little miniature palm tree.
Yeah.
Nothing covered with cobwebs, spiders all over it.
Ooh.
No.
I'm like, oh. Nope. So I back my car up a little bit. I'm like, I don't want these things getting on my car, you know? And then I walk up to it's a mobile home, so I walk up to the door, and you know they have little steps. Nothing but spiders on the steps.
No.
I guess I'm not showing this house. They drove 2 hours for nothing, right?
You know what? I'm allergic to spiders, too.
You just gotta walk up the stairs stomping.
Yeah. So I find a palm tree branch, and I'm just going to town on all the spiders. Finally get in the lockbox. I'm
just
standing
spreading them little babies.
I'm jumping like this, right? Because there's spiders all under me. I'm trying to
That
stomp
is
on
so gross.
while I'm locking the lockbox. And I get in the house. There's spiders in the house too. I'm like,
oh no.
And I'm knocking down all the cobwebs, and then my clients show up, and they're pretty country, right? And I'm a city boy. I just wear a cowboy hat most of the time and boots. And it was like, no, this ain't. I can't do it. I've always wanted to live in the country. I would not do it anymore because of that. You know, I'm a city boy now, right? So they get there. I never went through the back door. We get to the back door. Between the glass door and the door, there's a big old wasp nest. About that big. And the dude grabs it.
What?
The door all of a sudden.
You're over shivering in the corner.
I'm behind him. He's like, oh, don't worry about that. Opens the door and throws it out. He said, "I'm never even."
That's what they call a man.
That is a man.
No, that ain't no man. That is the machine.
A freak of nature.
No.
I just wear a cowboy hat for fun. This shit is not real.
No, I'm from the country. I know.
Wasp
No,
predator.
but see, listen, wasp and I love the country, but I don't like wasp and spiders.
No. Yeah, wasp tries to sting him and the stinger just breaks. That's how it is with him.
Man, yeah, for real. I couldn't believe it. I'm speechless. I still am, because how do you do that? How are you that much of a man?
He went over to all the spiders. He went over to the spiders. He's like, and they just
I
dispersed.
ain't getting within 6 feet.
They're like, holy shit, did he just do that?
Who's this guy? What's his name? Put him in the Rolodex.
His name
Oh
is
my
Cannon.
gosh.
Cannon. His name is Cannon.
His name is Cannon. He's a bad dude.
His name is Cannon. Cannon.
my gosh.
Shout out to
Shout out to
Cannon.
Cannon.
Big time.
He's a Cannon.
Oh my
time.
goodness.
You the man.
That is wild. That's fun. Now you just speaking of your cousin and people you do it. You just did one for your Meemaw. What do you call
My
it?
Momo.
Your Momo.
Yeah.
Momo.
So Momo, that's my grandma.
That
That
was
was
exciting.
awesome. You know.
The one that she's had for so long. She sold and got a new one.
No. So we haven't sold it yet.
Okay.
So that was my great grandma's house,
Uh-huh.
and she entered in the will, said, "Hey, I want you to." When she passed away, she said, "I want my daughter to move in and my son to move in." Right. So they both moved in, and they've been living there for a while, and. It's an old house, the second ward. It's probably built in like the 50s.
Right.
And they never did any upgrades or anything. They just lived there because,
Right,
you know, why
right.
not? It's,
Yeah.
you know, I don't got to pay nothing.
It's
I
free
pay
and
taxes.
clear.
It's free
Free and clear,
You know,
yeah.
so she's always saved up money and she would just do little things, you know, go shopping and whatnot, right? And that was her thing, right? But a month ago, one of her pipes burst, her gas pipes burst.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, man, it's going to be $3,000 to fix. She was like, how much do you have to put down on the house? I was like, well, your earnest money is, you know, if you're looking at $240,000, it's $2,400. She's like, well, I can just put that down. You know, she's
She's
like,
like, you know, I can either fix this or I just get a new house.
yeah, right. So she's like, all right, well, let's go look at houses. I'm like, okay, let's do it. You know? We
Those
got
are
her
the buyers we like.
we got her pre-approved in 2 days. And,
That's awesome.
And we started moving on it. And
That's
wow,
awesome.
it's my grandma. She's 70 years old.
Yeah.
You know, by the time she pays off the house, she'll be 100. Like, that's so cool.
I
She
know.
bought her first house at 70 years old.
That is
That's
awesome.
You know, that is
That's
so
awesome.
cool.
That is
That
so
is
cool.
awesome.
And you know what's crazy too? They all say the same thing. They're like, "You sure you can loan this to me?" Like, what if I'm like, "No."
Yes, you talked
Don't you
about
make me
it.
say something illegal? Yes, we
No.
can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can be 99 years
Se
old
puede.
and get a 30-year loan.
I don't want to do anything wrong here.
Absolutely.
Man. She's like, I'm about to retire next year. She's like, I'm just going to be hanging out in my brand new house that has AC. The house in second ward doesn't even have AC.
You see what I'm saying?
You know, they got little
No
air
busted
units
gas
in every room, and
pipelines.
She's like, oh man, this is amazing. She's so happy.
And the
She's got a
fun
big
thing
kitchen
is,
and
you
everything.
did it for her.
Yeah, I know,
Her-
right?
her
I got to be a
baby-
part of that.
That
Her
is so
grandbaby
wonderful,
did
though,
it.
because I've seen the exact opposite of that, too. Because we shot a house up in Crosby, and this was a mobile home. And this poor lady, her husband had passed like 15 years prior. And this poor lady had been living in this home. The ceiling was literally falling in.
Oh, yeah.
Her kitchen counter was at an angle like this because it was collapsing.
Wow.
And she didn't let anybody know. She was so embarrassed about it. You know, I mean, check on your people, folks.
You
Come
have
on,
to,
check
yeah.
on your people.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's
Right.
just the
That's
exact
cool, though,
Yeah.
polar
man.
opposite
That's
of that.
fun.
But
That's
check
fun
on your
that you
people.
did that.
Check on your people.
Yeah, I mean, you don't realize it because it's your grandma's house and I've been going there forever,
Yeah.
right? But then you look at the floor and you're like, is that a hole in the floor? I can see dirt.
That's
you know,
like,
there. You know?
because it's like, it's looked the same since you were little. So
Yeah.
it's like everything just makes sense.
Everything makes sense, you know. And you
They
go,
say you never
yeah.
notice until you leave and then you come back and you're like, what the
Well, I think, getting into the industry also makes you look at every single house you go into
Differently.
in a way
Oh,
different
I'm
light.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You're looking for all not the discrepancy, so to say. I
How do
love
your
all my
toilets
friends and family.
flush?
I'm not looking at your house and saying what can we fix, but I'm just saying you walk in. You walk in and you just see some things that you're like, I have a guy that can do this, or I have someone that I can refer you, or
Yeah, exactly.
you just want to help. You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
that. It's like that meme. Is like when the person, like your neighbor or whatever, they put their house up and then with Ludacris, what you got in that room? Have you seen that? What you got in your house? You just like you think of things differently. You're like,
Yeah, you just look at it in a different light.
what kind of for
You,
sure.
you guys are separating there. I need you to.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Get
closer.
close and comfortable.
Closer,
Yeah,
get closer.
Get close and
Act like you
comfortable.
like each other.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we do like each other.
Now,
I've been best friends with this guy
I know.
for what now? 7th grade. What's that? 10 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
10 plus,
Grade for
11.
them was 10
That's
years.
awesome.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, I was born in
That's
01.
wonderful. That is wonderful.
Janelle, we've been friends since 8th grade. That's about 30 years.
I ain't got no friends.
That's
up
about
here.
32 years.
School friends up here.
Look at that, man. All right, so y'all been best friends
That's awesome.
for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
Now you pulled him into this?
Pretty
Or-
much, yeah.
So you started doing your thing. Did you pull him in 2019, or did you come when he started flipping houses?
No, he just started.
Kinda,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, I guess
Well, you
around
came
then,
a year
yeah.
ago, right?
Right, so it pretty much happened. Like Kaleb was like, "Hey, I want you to flip houses with me. I want you to project manage my flips now. I want you to find the deals." And I was like, "Dude, let's do it." And then I tore my ACL. You know, I got this nasty scar, and I couldn't walk that well. And he was like, "Why don't you go get your license, and you can be on my team?" I said, "That sounds pretty cool." I've always been social. We were probably the most social people at our school. You know,
Yeah.
we knew everybody
Right,
from other
right.
schools. Everybody knew us
That's
in our
good.
school. You know, so it was just like it makes sense. Let me go try it.
Well, that's fine. Now,
That's so funny.
are you guys gonna come back?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, you guys gotta come back.
Let's do
We'll have
it.
to do some more stuff. We'll
Let's do
tell
it.
freaking Maggie and James to get their little booties
And we'll
over here.
talk. We'll say some conspiracy theories or something involved.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe you know
We're all
what?
about that.
Maybe we'll do a Saturday so we can have more whatever in our cup.
All
Yeah.
right, let's do it.
That sounds good to me.
Can't
But
go
for
to Rita's in our
real.
cup next time.
And we can
I like it.
we can jive off into other areas. But no, it was really fun. I'm glad you guys came by.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having us.
Cause I mean that's so cool to know. I mean, listen, if you in your 20s, it is doable. Y'all can make. You don't have to wait
That
as
is
long as I
impressive.
did to get my life together. You
You
get
guys-
it together right now.
You guys
Yeah.
are impressive.
It's all
Get
about
in
building
the
it. You know,
mix.
it's about starting. Something I told
Yeah, just start.
Addison the other day, who's my assistant, was I heard this story a long time ago. Maybe we can end it with this.
Yeah.
But I heard the story, and I think I was at like a conference in a little breakout session, and this guy was just rambling on about the Great Wall of China. And I'm gonna butcher like the actual numbers of the story, but he was saying, you know, the Great Wall of China was only supposed to be, hypothetically speaking, 5 feet long, right? But what happened? It was actually a family lineage project of people that were going out and just laying bricks. And he said, so every day for hundreds and hundreds of years, this family would get up, you know, go brush their teeth, shower, and go to work, lay bricks, come back home, go to sleep, and that was it. And they did the same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So if you're just starting, or even if you've been in it 20 years, just lay your bricks.
Yeah.
And over time, you'll have something as great as the Great Wall of China.
That's amazing.
You know?
That's awesome.
And so this guy was just preaching about the fact that every day, us as business owners, whatever business that you're in, you're just supposed to wake up, show up, lay bricks, go home, repeat. And over time, you'll build something so beautiful you didn't even know where the time went.
Yep. Yep.
I like it.
I do too.
Look at Kaleb. Look at Kaleb Monroe. Okay, so
That's some gold.
I know. Shoot, that's gonna be your 15 seconds.
There you
can
go.
clip that.
There you go.
Clip it. Clip it, and then we'll be like, Fat Boy Realtor. Oh man, I love it. But I'm really glad that y'all came back, or y'all came by. Y'all have to come back.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I hope y'all made it through whatever he edits it together, and we will have them back. Let us know what kind of questions we should ask them next time.
Yeah, put it in the comment.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out. Everybody give your byes.
Bye.